Picture this. You're in a career-defining moment. Maybe it's a high-stakes negotiation, a presentation to the entire company, or that really tough conversation you've been putting off with your boss. The pressure is on. Your heart's pounding, your mind's racing. That feeling, that internal battle, well, it's a conflict as old as time. One of the greatest warriors in history had to master. And trust me, their secrets to victory are more relevant to your life today than you could ever imagine.
Sounds like a bit of a stretch, right? A samurai in your next meeting? But believe it or not, the answer is pretty much everything. The exact same strategies Japan's most legendary swordsmen use to win life-or-death duels are directly applicable to the psychological battles we all face every single day. The key isn't a sharper sword, it's a sharper mind.
So let me introduce you to Miyamoto Musashi. This guy was arguably the greatest swordsman in Japanese history. He was completely undefeated in over 60 duels. Think about that for a second. 60. But his legend wasn't just built on being fast or strong. It was built on a deep, profound understanding of psychology and strategy.
And that is the real kicker right there. Musashi was convinced that the most critical battles are won on the inside, long before anyone even makes a move. The secret weapon that let him dominate any conflict was a deep, unshakable calm, a total mastery over his own inner world. All right, so how on earth did he do it? Well, it all starts with this one foundational concept he called fudoshin. This basically translates to the unmoved mind. And this is the core of his entire philosophy.
So what is fudoshin? Think of it like a state of total mental balance. Now, this isn't about suppressing your emotions or being some kind of unfeeling robot. Not at all. It's about keeping your head in its natural balanced state, even when all hell is breaking loose around you. This is what allows you to respond with clarity and precision, instead of just, reacting.
And just look at the contrast here. When conflict hits most of us, what happens? Our minds get flooded with fear or anger or frustration. We become reactive, and this is the important part, we become predictable. Musashi believed that an opponent who's consumed by emotion is already halfway to losing. But the unmoved mind, it stays observant, it stays fluid. It sees the situation for exactly what it is and can adapt its strategy on the fly.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually get this unmoved mind? Well, the first practical technique is all about creating a little bit of emotional distance. It's a really subtle but incredibly powerful shift in how you relate to your own feelings.
And this is a perfect example of that shift. When you say, I am angry, you're making that emotion your entire identity in that moment. You've become a vessel for anger. But if you just switch the language in your head to, I notice a feeling of anger, everything changes. You create a space. You become an observer of the feeling, not a victim of it. It's a simple change, but it engages your rational mind and stops that emotion from completely hijacking your response. Musashi had this amazing way of thinking about it. He told his students to see their emotions like clouds, just floating by in the sky. You can watch them, you can acknowledge them, oh, there's an anger cloud, but you don't have to let them become a storm that completely engulfs you. You can just let them pass on by.
And you know what's cool? Once you start creating that little bit of space from your own internal chatter, something pretty incredible starts to happen. You unlock this totally different level of awareness. Musashi called it the difference between just passively seeing something and actively perceiving it. So here's the deal. A calm mind is a super perceptive mind. When you're not busy wrestling with your own internal chaos, your anger, your fear, your ego, you free up all this mental energy to truly focus on the other person. You start noticing the little things, the subtle shifts in their tone, their body language, the patterns in their arguments that a distracted, emotional mind would completely miss. The legendary duel with Sasaki Kojiro is the perfect story here. Musashi knew his opponent was proud and disciplined, so he deliberately arrived hours late. This, of course, completely infuriated Kojiro. Consumed by rage, Kojiro attacked with these powerful but totally predictable strikes. Musashi, who stayed calm and observant, just easily exploited the openings that rage created. He didn't just fight Kojiro's sword, he fought his mind and won. Now, holding all of these techniques together, the foundation for all of it is a core mindset. It's a principle of radical acceptance that forms the absolute bedrock of mental calm. This quote right here, it's the very first principle from his Dakidodo, a list of rules he wrote right before he died. It's so simple,
But man, is it powerful? Accept everything just the way it is.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. How much of our daily stress comes from fighting with what's actually happening, wishing a situation was different, complaining about how unfair something is, resenting an outcome? Musashi teaches that this resistance is basically a self-inflicted wound. It's a pointless internal fight that just drains your energy and creates a ton of distress.
And I gotta make something super clear here. Acceptance does not mean being a doormat. It is not about giving up or surrendering. In fact, it's the opposite. It's a strategic tool. It means you calmly acknowledge the facts on the ground, the reality of the situation, so you can stop wasting energy fighting what is and redirect all of that focus toward navigating it effectively. All right, so I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds good, but it's not like you can just flip a switch, right? And you're absolutely correct. This isn't a quick fix or some kind of magic trick. Musashi's calm wasn't just part of his personality. It was forged through relentless daily practice.
The way is in training. 4 simple words, but they're maybe his most famous, and for good reason. Mental toughness, just like physical strength, is the result of consistent daily effort. It's a skill you build, not a gift you're just born with. So where do you train? Your gym is your everyday life. The next time you're stuck in traffic, that's your dojo. Use that minor irritation to practice observing your frustration instead of becoming it. When you face some small inconvenience, like the Wi-Fi going out, practice accepting it without resistance. By training in these small, seemingly insignificant moments, you're forging the strength you need for the major conflicts.
So, at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway? It's this. The calm, clear, and powerful mind of a warrior isn't something you just hope for. It's something you build, day by day, irritation by irritation. It is a weapon that you forge for yourself. Because look, make no mistake about it, your next challenge, whether it's in the office, at home, or just inside your own head, it's coming. So the only real question is, which mind are you going to bring to the fight? The reactive, predictable one, or the one that is unshakable?